Tensions between Truck Series driver Nick Sanchez and veteran racer Matt Crafton reached an all-time high at Talladega Superspeedway. What occurred next left NASCAR fans perplexed and wanting answers. Was it Sanchez's mother who began a violent assault on Crafton? Everyone is buzzing about the surprise twist in this heated battle. Stay tuned to find out more about this shocking incident that's shaking up the racing world like never before. But before that, please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button for more whereabouts on NASCAR. As we head into the final 3 races of the season, things got pretty heated at the Talladega Superspeedway, especially among some of the fiery young Truck Series drivers. People were expecting some intense racing action on the track, but what unfolded went beyond anyone's expectations. And guess who found themselves right in the middle of it all? None other than Truck Series driver Nick Sanchez had quite the post-Saturday race surprise. But how did everything turn out heated? During the 93rd lap, there was a major on-track clash between Sanchez and a former Truck Series champion, who also happens to be Hailie Deegan's teammate. This collision led to a massive pileup that totally shook up the race dynamics. After the race, instead of sorting things out with words, these two decided to settle their differences with their fists. Yep, you heard that right, they got into a bit of a brawl, and things got pretty intense behind the scenes. In fact, poor Nick Sanchez ended up with a bloody nose after their scuffle. NASCAR is already looking into this bloody incident that happened after the race. You know how it goes when racing action gets super close and intense. Tempers can flare up. But this time, it was Rev Racing driver Nick Sanchez who made a bit of a mess on the track. The whole feud between the rookie and the veteran started during the first overtime of the race. Sanchez, full of ambition, decided to drive into Crafton's truck right in the middle of traffic. Well, that move set off a chain reaction, with cars getting all tangled up and spinning around in the middle of the road. When the dust settled, Sanchez managed to finish in 7th place. But Crafton's day ended in disappointment, with a 24th place finish. Crafton was pretty furious about it all, and decided to have a chat with Nick Sanchez. What followed was a bit of a scuffle between the two drivers. They exchanged a flurry of blows, and it took some folks to separate them. As they were being pulled away from each other, things got pretty heated with a whole lot of not-so-friendly words flying around. Sanchez, clearly not in the best mood, yelled out in anger, "I'm gonna effing kill you in Homestead, you effed with the wrong guy, mother effer." Crafton wasn't about to back down from the fight either. He had some words of his own to share. He yelled, "I'll whip your expletive. I got you at Homestead, expletive." After being taken into the infield medical center to tend to his wounds, Sanchez explained the build-up to the fight in a relaxed manner. Getting to watch the consequences of hard racing up close, the Miami native said, "Yeah man, I was walking back to the hauler tapping my back. Got punched in the face. Cheap shot, but it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I'm all for fighting, but you know, no cheap shots. I got a cheap shot, and never really had a chance to get him back. But it is what it is. It's a part of racing." Despite the fact that Nick Sanchez was mostly to blame for what went down on the track, he showed professionalism once the dust settled to keep things on the field. On the flip side, Crafton, despite having more experience under his belt, didn't quite keep his emotions in check, and his fists did the talking after the race. The incident involving Nick Sanchez took an unexpected turn with his mother's recent revelation, adding a new layer of complexity to this intense rivalry. Her public statements shed light on the unprofessional behavior displayed by the 47-year-old Crafton during the altercation. In a surprising twist, Nick's mom expressed her disappointment at witnessing her son being punched right in front of her, and she shared some shocking details of what happened. According to her, as Nick turned to see who had tapped him, Crafton blindsided him with an unexpected punch. No words were exchanged, no prior confrontation. Just a sudden and unexpected moment that left the entire racing world wondering what truly went down that eventful day at Talladega. Here's her full statement. In a Facebook post, Nick Sanchez's mom gives her account of the fight between Crafton and Sanchez at Talladega Saturday. She wrote, "Thank you to everyone for all the calls and texts after yesterday's race. Nick is doing good. We all really appreciate your concern and feel your love." For those who don't know what exactly happened, after the race, Nick and his PR right-hand lady, Christy, were walking next to each other back to his hauler. Renee and I were about 10 steps behind him. Then, in a flash, another driver literally came out of nowhere. We think he was hiding behind some tires. Then tapped Nick on his shoulder from behind. When Nick turned his face to see who it was, he then sucker punched Nick. Didn't say a word, no confrontation, just flat out blindsided him. The driver had already changed out his fire suit into plain clothes to blend in with everyone else. Obviously, he was waiting for Nick to walk by. He had it planned. Like Nick said, it was a cheap shot. Anyone who knows Nick knows he's not an aggressor and would never do that to another driver or anyone else. But he didn't even have a chance to defend himself. As a parent, the last thing you expect to see is someone assault and attack your son right in front of you. It's hard to put into words. Sickening is an understatement. I don't know what else to say. I'm still shaken up and extremely sad. This was all because of an on-track incident, which happens all the time. That's racing. After watching the video, most people are stating it wasn't Nick's fault. Regardless of whose fault, to not even come up to Nick and talk about it and have a discussion is so classless and cowardly, especially coming from a 47-year-old veteran driver who should be a role model. Yes, a 47-year-old taking a cheap shot at Nick. The aftermath of the Talladega showdown left NASCAR fans absolutely shocked. The events that unfolded between Sanchez and Crafton have stirred up quite a buzz within the racing community. People are drawing comparisons to other memorable fights that spiraled out of control. And there's even a call for suspensions for Crafton and his team when it comes to the Homestead race. Over on Reddit, NASCAR fans are not holding back with their opinions. One commenter was pretty blunt about it, saying, "That's the ugliest I've seen a driver look after a post-race altercation in some time. He got busted open pretty bad." Another fan took a deep dive into the video, suggesting that Crafton might not have been the instigator of the violence. They even called for an indefinite ban on the crew members if they were responsible for attacking Nick Sanchez. He replied, "I don't see Crafton anywhere. If it was the crew guys that effed him up, they need to never set foot on a racetrack ever again." Then there's a Crafton fan who's torn about the whole situation, saying, "If Crafton just straight up assaulted him, he should be suspended. I've been a Crafton fan for nearly his entire career, but that seems extremely effed up." And finally, one fan crowned it as, "Perhaps the most bloody fight in NASCAR history? Unsure if those heat-of-the-moment threats will cause any issues." It's been quite a while since a NASCAR driver faced official punishment for their actions in a post-race altercation. The last time this happened was back in 2016, when John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher were both fined for their involvement in a tussle during a Truck Series race. However, with Nick Sanchez's accusation of a sudden unprompted punch and his recorded threats after the fight, it's likely that this precedent will change, and some consequences may be in store for those involved. In other racing news, Brett Moffitt made an impressive return to the Craftsman Truck Series at Talladega Superspeedway. Moffitt pulled off a daring three-wide move on the final lap to pass Christian X and Chandler Smith, securing the victory by holding off Smith in the tri-oval. Ben Rhodes came in second, while Dean Thompson secured third place. Moffitt's win ended a streak of 4 consecutive first-time winners at Talladega in the series. The race had some early leaders, with Chase Purdy initially holding the pole position and leading the opening 5 laps. However, a bad block left Purdy alone in the middle of the pack, allowing Nick Sanchez to take control of the field. Parker Kligerman, with some assistance from Purdy, made a charge for the front, but was unable to overtake Sanchez, who held on to win Stage 1, earning valuable stage points. There was a scary incident during the first round of pit stops when Zane Smith had trouble getting into his pit box. The number 38 truck slid sideways and the right rear slammed into team tire carrier Charles Plank. While Carson Hocevar made his presence felt at the front of the pack, Kligerman and Sanchez continued to shine, taking the lead late in the second stage. Unfortunately, an accident occurred with 2 laps to go in the stage as they entered turn 3. As of now, Nick Sanchez is in a good position, earning 19 stage points and currently holding the 4th and final spot. Ty Majeski has slipped further back, sitting 19 points below the cut line, and Zane Smith finds himself in a must-win situation. Looking ahead, the Craftsman Truck Series will conclude the round of 8 at Homestead Miami Speedway on October 21st, with the Baptist Health 200 scheduled to start at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. Racing fans can definitely expect more exciting action and drama on the track in the upcoming race. So that's all we've got for today. We hope you've enjoyed it. Tell us what you think of the video in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in the upcoming video.